who were taken to the Tower, carried to Tower Hill, and there they were both publicly beheaded. And their crime? Absolute refusal to acknowledge King Henry VIII as the supreme head of the Church in England. Now, 400 years later, these two martyrs to their faith and beliefs were both canonised by the Roman Catholic Church and made saints. Another person held in the upper chamber, of course, the young Princess Elizabeth, on the orders of a half-sister, Mary Tudor, Bloody Mary. Now, Mary believed Elizabeth was involved in the Thomas Wyatt rebellions of 1554. Thomas Wyatt was captured and sentenced to death. Before this, he was taken to the dungeons in the White Tower and placed on the rack and viciously tortured in the hope he'd implicate Elizabeth. But he still refused, so Mary was then forced to release Elizabeth from the tower. But she came back just 4 years later on the death of Mary, when she of course became Queen Elizabeth I in 1558. Finally, another person held in the Lord Chamberlain's Tower was that man I'm sure you all know, James Scott. What a shouted laugh you've led. Well, I assure you, by the time I finish this little story, you will never, ever forget the name of James Scott. James Scott was in fact the Duke of Monmouth, and he was the eldest of some 13 illegitimate children of King Charles II, who for obvious reasons was known as the Merry Monarch. Now, on the death of Charles, this illegitimate son, though he be the next King of England, because we would not allow one of those on the throne. So he was refused it. So off he went to the West Country, places like Cornwall, Devon, Somerset, and there James Scott, as you could form himself a very large army to march on London and claim the throne. But he was defeated in the Battle of Sedgemoor, brought this town just 2 nights and 1 day, after which he came to Tower Hill, and there he was publicly beheaded. But this execution is considered to be the most blundering and bloody execution in our history, because that day the executioner was a man by the name of Jack Keck, one of the most notorious gates in the world. Traitors' Gate, built on the orders of King Edward I. And that gate was called originally, and I apologise to any Americans here, because that was called originally the Watergate. I got some Americans on me, come on, hands up, let's see your colours. Hands up, the Americans, come on, let's see you. Oh, not many here. Where are you from, my dear?
Wisconsin.
I'm sorry?
Wisconsin.
No, I heard you first time. I'm sorry. So how did the name Traitors' Gate? It occurred in the Tudor period, when many alleged traitors walked in the tower through those gates. Among them, Queen Anne Boleyn, Queen Catherine Howard, the Lady Jane Grey, the uncrowned Queen of England for just 9 days, and of course the young Princess Elizabeth. Out of all those 4, only Elizabeth was to keep her head within the tower. Some of the high dignitaries of the church, Archbishop Laud, Archbishop Cranmer, the Bishops Latimer and Ridley, both his gate, and then taken to Smithfield Market in the City of London. And there, these priests were placed in chains, faggots placed at their feet, and they were burnt alive at the stake. Again, for the benefit of the Americans, I just better explain that faggots in England are bundles of firewood, okay? Over here, Thomas More, John Fisher, Sir Walter Raleigh, Mel Gibson, All came to the gate, up the steps, met him by the happy jailer, and took the archway there, into the walls of the tower, and there to await whatever fate had in store. Everyone knew the bloody tower. That was originally called the Garden Tower. Could overlook a small garden upon Tower Green. Because of all the tragedies that occurred in that tower, it became known first of all as the Tower of Blood. And of course, the bloody tower. And surely, one of the greatest tragedies that occurred in there was in 1483. The alleged murder of the two boy princes, Edward V and his younger brother, Richard, the Duke of York. Two small boys